Old broken record, and I'm actually tired and disappointed for not only us and our team, but our fans also. And we got to figure some things out. So we are working at it, trying to figure out how to get our offense going. A little bit concerned because LA did get banged up a little bit, and he's a little bit beaten up in the shoulders, but at the same time, he's planning on playing. We'll see where we're at later on in the week, and at that point, we'll make a decision. But we would like to try to do all we can to try to figure out how to get this offense going again, because the fact that we hadn't scored in quite some time now, is a little bit of an issue. It's actually a lot of an issue. So that's what the deal. That's what the big deal is for us right now. We're gonna see where we can get to from here.
Is depth a problem?
Huh?
Is depth a problem?
No. You know what? We've got two of everything. I almost feel that north in that way. We got two running backs. We got two centers, two tackles, two guards, everything. And we played a lot of folks, so the depth is not the problem. What's been the problem is the fact that we've been too inconsistent in our play. We'll have one guy that we'll bust an assignment here, we'll run the wrong way there. I guess one of the indicators was that we had, a couple instances where on the first series of the game where we probably could have gotten them stopped and didn't quite get it done, and then they kick off to us, and we got a left return call, and our kid didn't think he would quick get there, so he got turns up and goes right. Some of that kind of stuff was just kind of problematic of sorts. And from there we get the football down the field and stall out down there, don't quite get it, and they get closer to go for a field goal. Try to make a field goal, don't make it. I thought our kicker might have gotten roughed a little bit. I didn't realize it until I saw the film and saw that he'd gotten hit pretty good. And wish we had gotten that call. Sometimes the fast time is not quite the same as video time, but at the same time we can run it back and forth. But at the same time, that would have been a big play for us at that time, because that would give us another opportunity to at least go down and get a little bit close to some of that kind of stuff and try some more. But we just couldn't seem to kill nothing. Nothing just wouldn't die. So we are working to get ready now for Furman. Trying to put that behind us. We met yesterday. We practiced yesterday, and I think our guys all understand what our circumstances are, understand what our situation is, and at this point we got to figure out how to make something happen pretty fast.
Do you deem this Furman game a must-win?
Well, every game's a must-win, Levi. That must-win thing is just copy for you guys to figure out what you got to put in the headlines. Yeah, it is a must-win, but at the same time, the next one is a must-win too. So if for some reason we don't beat Furman, then the next one will be a must-win. That kind of deal. But yeah, it's a big win for us, and it's at this point we are probably in a situation where it'd be hard for us to get a at-large berth into the playoffs. So I don't know if I'd take a chance on doing anything that would overexpose us for possible situations later down the road a piece. Say, for instance, if I had a guy who I might be able to get fully healthy for Hampton the next game, or if I held that guy or if I played him this week, I might err toward trying to hold a guy at this point, because I want to make sure I get the conference race right now is my best shot. So that's kind of what my thinking is at this point. So with that being the answer, I guess this is not a must-win game, is it? but it is it's a big game for us, yes.
Well, Coach, could you understand some people at this point in the program that you would perform better against non-HBCUs like a Coastal?
Well, I don't think it's got anything to do with whether they're non-HBCU or not. It's got more to do with the fact they got a good football team. We don't necessarily distinguish between one or the other. It may be something that because of historical significance, we seem to put a lot of value on. But I just see another football team out there, and Coastal's got, all the elements in place to, continue to play very, very well. And, they've got a really nice program down there. So I just want to congratulate them and the fact that they've done well. At this point, we're going about the task of trying to solve our issues, and our biggest issue is the fact that we're trying to beat the next team, which whoever they are. They just happen to be Furman, I guess.
Speaking of the MAC schedule, you sense that you're approaching a part of the season where teams that have a higher sense of trying to play well against you guys and defeat you guys?
Well, I'm sure it is, but now that's not so unusual. Every year, guys think this is the year we're going to get them, at that point. We've had years where we've started off slow in our non-conference schedule. Eventually, we find our way. Hopefully that's the case this year. And I'll guarantee you that, we'll start a campaign around here around the time that we get into our league play that'll give our kids, a new excitement again. Not to say that they're not excited about playing now, but, everything is a situation to itself. You got to figure out exactly how to make that particular situation as big as you possibly can. The Furman game this week is a biggie for us, and Furman's really good, and they've got their defense is as good as any of the three defenses we played all year. It's as good as Clemson. It's as good as Coastals. It might be a little bit even better than Coastals. And of course, it's better than the rest of the teams we play. So, Furman's going to be a tough challenge for us. So it'll be a big, a real big event for us to get ready for this coming Saturday.
Defensively, what do you think is just missing from this group? It doesn't seem like they're playing with the fire that they did from last year.
Our defense?
Yes.
People. We lost the entire secondary. You don't have anybody back in the secondary. We lost pretty much the entire linebacking core. The guys who started for us last year, the linebacker, are not back. And and you got a new scheme. You're trying to figure out and try to make sure that you understand all the nuances of a new scheme. You put those ingredients together, you get a little bit. But I thought our defense played really well for a period, in the second half. And then, of course, we turned the football over at a time when they hadn't had a chance to really to fully recuperate. As far as the situation was concerned that way. Conditioning-wise, physically, they had been out there for a long time, and then they get off the field on a fumble. The very first play after the fumble, we throw a pick, get it back, then they hit a big run on us that way. But besides that, our defense, I thought, played better. They did not play up to the speed that that we thought that a South Carolina State defense ought to play at. And I think we all realize that we're not at that point yet. But, we're developing a young group of linebackers. Justin Hughes is back, but, we're playing, Darius Leonard, and we tried to play Brock some. Some of that hadn't worked out. We're working with Hughes, trying to get Hughes going. And Hughes is probably playing the best of all of them. He's the older of the guys. Didn't play quite as much last year, but he's back playing, now pretty much. And you just got to understand that it's going to take a while to get, those guys going. At the rate they were going last year. So that's kind of what we're dealing with at this point.
At this point, is there any question of your confidence in this team at this point?
Oh, there's some questions that when you get beaten the way we've gotten beaten the last 2 weeks, of course there's some questions, there's some confidence kinds of issues that you have, and that's what we're building. And the only way we can fix some of that kind of stuff, and I was talking to our team yesterday, I told them, I said, there's nothing wrong with this team that a little bit of success wouldn't somehow or another solve. You got to go out and do things in a way where you build some confidence that way, and the only way you build confidence is to have some success and to win. Success is the glue of any kind of group or team or whatever have you when they got to hang together and be together for long periods of time. The fact that they're having some kind of enjoyment together is what is created by success.
Offensively, it seemed like the offensive line had its share of issues. Was that so much with Coastal what they were doing, or it's just, are you still missing Lima?
Well, I think we missed Lima, but I think it's got more to do with Coastal and some of the adjustments they gave us. And when you don't run the football, sometimes it's not necessarily the offensive line. Sometimes it could be some of the other blockers that you have within a particular scheme. Or it could be, a back goes the wrong way or something like that, does not run the right spot. We had a situation on the goal line where, You know, we have a guy who, if he goes a little wider away, if he follows his puller, is what we try to tell him, which is the guy who actually takes him to the spot, then we think he would have scored. Well, you know, he saw daylight, and it's hard to stop him. It's hard to tell a running back, you know, not to run the daylight, okay? But on goal line, you know, when you gap scheming and stuff, sometimes, although there may be some daylight there, it's fool's goal. And he got drawn into that deal. And the next play, we come back and try to run a similar play. And, you know, those guys, you know, they give us a little bit of blitz. And our kids, our offensive line was, you know, dug in a little bit too hard and didn't come off onto the backer. We end up giving up a large yardage play there. And then we come back, and the next snap, we got a little deal where we're going to run a little speed sweep deal and, you know, try to get the end zone that way. And we get a movement up front. So, you know, at that point, then we got to throw the football, which is what, you know, we ended up doing before we kicked the field goal. So, you know, you're right. You know, there are issues, but at the same time, you know, it's not all in the offensive line or that kind of stuff. It's got to do with you know, with some other positions also.
What's your true assessment about your quarterback position? What's your true assessment?
I thought he played better Saturday. I don't think he still played quite well enough for us to be fully functional. But at the same time, I thought he was a good bit better. He made some mistakes. You know, that's not so usual with a young quarterback that way. One of the mistakes he made was we were in field goal territory one time. He took a sack that got us out of field goal territory, somewhere down there, something of that sort. And you know, I told him that, and he understood that. He knows he can't do that, which is the most you can ask for under these circumstances. You want a guy, you know, once he makes a mistake to, you know, to understand and not continuously repeat that behavior. So as we continue to develop him, you know, I'm hoping that he's healthy and well this week and ready to go, because, you know, I'd hate for him to lose some of the momentum that he's gained and some of the strides he went from week 1 to week 2 now to week 3. You know, I can see the improvement. I thought he took a little bit of step backwards in week 2, but then week 3 I thought he played a good bit better, and we were hoping to see some building or some improvement on that play that he had this past weekend to get to the point where we could actually, you know, think that he was a live, willing participant in a high-speed operation. But we're not quite there yet.
How much did you advise the players as well about keeping it cool, 3 unsportsmanlike penalties on Saturday?
Yeah, and, you know, I told them, I said, you know, the example I used was the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. You get a little bit of a deal there where they always seem to catch the second person, and all those things were little deals where on film you could see, you know, there was a little pushing and shoving, that kind of stuff going. And, you know, I think a young team sometimes, when it gets frustrated by it all, you know, they have a tendency to push back, you know, but at the same time, we have addressed those issues, and we have some other little things in place so they can remember not to do those things again. But let's hope that that's something that's behind us now, because, you know, that won't be tolerated here.
Talked a lot about Furman's defense. What about their offense?
Furman's offense is pretty good, too. The big thing in Furman's offense that's probably, you know, a little bit different is that they did lose their quarterback in the first game, in the first half of the first game was somewhere in there, I think it was. And he was not only one of their quarterbacks, but he was their offensive captain. And if you remember him down here last year, Reese Hannon, you know, he was a heck of a player. What they've done is they've got the kid Dylan Woodruff now, who's a redshirt friend who played a little bit for him last year, I think, you know, and then got redshirt because he got something hurt last year. I forgot exactly what it was, and he's an athlete too now. He can throw it and he can run it. He's just not as experienced as the older guy. Their offensive line is a little bit different, but they're still an offensive line in Furman's way. They got some special kind of abilities by them. Their tight ends are really good. They're big, lanky kids that can run. You know, they got speed outside, and then they got the Hank McLeod kid back. He rushed for over 1,000 yards last year, who's really a good player. So, You know, they offensively they've got the stuff to to really come on and play well. I think the biggest issue they had Saturday was that they were delayed for a little over an hour before they played Saturday, and there were times when it was monsoon kind of condition. It was raining so hard until you could hardly see the video. So a lot of what happened with the game Saturday, the 10-7 loss that they had Saturday to Presbyterian, was due to the elements. And I think both their offense and defense, are very similar to what they were last year. The team that came down here and beat us last year, and then of course they continue to kick the ball very well. They've got a freshman, I think he might be a redshirt freshman kicker from over Greenwood, South Carolina. His name is Hollingsworth. He punts and kicks for him, believe it or not, and supposedly he's really, really, really good. So I'm sure that adds to the issue. The special teams game, he kicked a 50-some-yard field goal against Mercer a couple of weeks ago. So they got all the parts in place to come down here and give us a real tussle on Saturday.
After 2 straight losses and now it's your home opener, how much are you hoping that there'll still be a good opening crowd showing? Well,
let's hope so. I think we have a good crowd. It's the first game of the year. It's Youth Day. It's Hall of Fame Day. We got enough things around the game besides the fact that I hope that I want all of the friends and fans from the community come and all of our student body comes. That's the big deal, to get everybody out to come and see this game on Saturday, because we need all of the inspiration we can get. We need all the life and noise that we can get on our side for this game Saturday.
What about leadership? Is it focusing where you can actually tell it's actually making a difference in some situations?
It's hard to be great leaders when you have adversity going on, but we've had a pretty calm being about us, and we got some good, strong personalities on this team. That's another reason why I'm hoping LA, because LA has really started. Adrian Collett has really started to kind of assert himself, in that kind of way. But we've got guys, all through those teams. Scoot Simmons is a big guy as far as this team is concerned, and he does a nice job of making our guys understand some things that way. Our offensive front's got some good, strong leaders in it, guys like Dominique Wilson, Devin Flower. Those guys are senior guys, that have been through the wars before and understand. On defense, you got the Glovers and the Carters and the Hargraves and all those guys. So you got some guys on this team, who've been through it all and are not going to panic. And are continuing to work to make sure they do all they can to to give us an opportunity to be the best team we can be each week. Is that it?